We're going to start this lesson by solving a linear equation algebraically. And as you can see, I've picked a very hard one here. And we're going to go through these steps. If this is really hard and this doesn't make sense, just kind of hold on tight. I do want to go through one example where we're solving this by hand. But then in the next video, I'm going to show you how to use your calculator to solve this. Sometimes it is quicker and better and easier to do it by hand. So it is useful. When we go to literal equations, we have to solve this by hand. But there are going to be other times when it is going to be faster and quicker and more efficient to just use our calculator. So it is really important that we know how to do it both by hand algebraically and by using our calculator. So I'm going to go through these steps as we are solving this one here. So it says, number one, if a linear equation contains fractions, which I have 2 right here, we need to multiply both sides of the equation by a number that will remove all denominators from the equation. If there are 2 or more fractions, use the LCD, or the least common denominator, of the fractions. So we need to find the LCD here. So take one of your 2 numbers, and actually it's always best if you use the bigger one. I'm going to use the smaller one for this one, just for a little bit more practice. So if I take this smaller one here, 6, I want to write my multiples. So this is 6, 12, 18, 24, and I'm out of room, so hopefully that's enough. So I took one of the numbers, doesn't matter which, and write your multiples of it, not your factors. That would be 2 and 3. I want to write my multiples. So 6 times 1 is 6, 6 times 2 is 12, 6 times 3 is 18, 6 times 4 is 24. If I needed 6 times 5, we do 30, and we could keep going. Once I list out my multiples of one of your denominators, now use the second one, and what is the least number, the smallest number that this second number will divide into? So I can't divide 9 into 6. I can't evenly divide 9 into 12, but I can divide 9 into 18. So this right here is my LCD. I'm going to make a little note, because you can divide 18 by 9. Okay, now you can go the other way too. If you list your multiples of 9, we have 9, 18, and 6 can divide into 18. So it really doesn't matter which one you use. If you do use the bigger number, you don't have to list as many. Okay, so we have found the LCD, so we're going to multiply both sides by the LCD. Now, when I multiply both sides by the LCD, we're going to end up distributing it, and what that essentially does is every term here needs to get multiplied by this LCD. So I have 18 times 5 times x minus 3 all over 6 minus, multiply this x by 18 equals, multiply this 1 by 18 and then minus 18 times this one right here. So in red, I have now multiplied all 4 of these terms by whatever that LCD is. Now the goal is, once we multiply everything by this LCD, it's not going to change my equation at all, but it should get rid of every fraction, and then it's just solving like normal. So here, 18 over 6 gives me 3. When I cross reduce, 18 divided by 6 is 3. And now I'm going to multiply this 3 by this 5 here. So this one becomes 15 times x minus 3. That's all over 1, and I don't need that right there. So minus 18, or negative 8, or I guess just 18 times x is 18x equals 18 times 1 is 18. Here, 18 divided by 9 gives me 2. And then multiply that 2 by the top, so we get minus 2x. So this top equation and this bottom equation are equivalent, but now I have no fractions. So now I can solve like normal. So the next step here is to perform any multiplication or division to remove any parentheses or other symbols of grouping. So let's distribute right here. 15 times x is 15x. And 15 times -3 is -45. Bring everything else down. My next step is to perform any addition or subtraction to get all terms containing the variable on one side and all the terms on the other side of the equation combine like terms. I'm actually going to combine my like terms first. So on this side, we have like terms with 15x minus 18x to get -3x. I'm going to bring everything else down. Okay, and if you notice, we have an x on both sides and a number on both sides. So we need to get everything to one side. So I either need to move this x over here or this x over here, and it doesn't matter which. I typically like my x's over here on the left. So the opposite of a -2x is a positive 2x. So -3 plus 2 gives me -1 or just -x. Bringing everything else down. Need those canceled. Now I have my variable on the left. That means I need to get my constant on the right. So I'm going to add 45 over. And I get -x equals 63. And then step 4 is to divide both sides of the equation by the coefficient of the variable. I have solved here for a -x, and I need to solve for a positive x. So you can either multiply by -1 or divide by -1. And we're going to get x equals -63. For our answer. Now, step 5 is to check the solution by substituting it in, and you can. I'm not going to do it in this problem because in the next video, I'm going to show you how to use your graphing calculator, and that will check it in that way. So watch this video again if you need to, but that's the only really example we have of kind of a hard example of solving an equation with finding the LCD and all of that.